Welcome to 5 Good Minutes.
You're listening to today's inspirational message on the book of Esther
with Russ Brasher.
Hey folks, welcome back to the 5 Good Minutes podcast. We're in day 2 looking at Esther chapter 9. And yesterday we concentrated on just verse 1 and looked at what it means to know that God is a God who is in the business of reversing. That the cross reverses the curse of sin, and that we have life, we have forgiveness, we have freedom from sin because of who Jesus is and what he did for us when he sacrificed himself and went to the cross and paid our debt to reverse the curse of sin, that we deserve death, but through grace are given life because of who God is and how he was able to reverse the curse by being faithful to his promises to redeem and reconcile his people. And now as we get to continue looking at Esther 9, again, we're still in decree day. And I'll be honest, we're going to be looking at Esther chapter 9, verses 5 through 17, but really 2 through 17 are hard to read. They've got a lot of details of battle and murder and just some decision making that it's like, man, why did they make those decisions? And you just got to trust that God is at work in it. But what I really want to focus on is verse 16, that after everything that takes place, here's what it says. It says, meanwhile, the remainder of the Jews who were in the king's provinces also assembled to protect themselves and get relief from their enemies. And that's the phrase I want to focus on today to better understand who God is, his character and his nature, and what does it mean for those who put their faith and trust in Jesus. Well, we see here in verse 16 that it means that if you are a believer, if you are a follower, that you have relief and experience relief from your enemies. And in this particular context, the enemy was those who were seeking out to cause harm to the Jews, God's people. And I just want to put yourself in their shoes for a second to just think about this. That decree day, chapter 9, is the day that 11 months ago in this point in history was declared. That 11 months prior, it was made public knowledge that on a certain day, this day, if you were a Jew, that there was going to be a large army of people coming after you with intention to wipe out your entire existence. Not only were they coming to kill you, murder you, your wife, your kids, your whole family, but not only that, they were going to come and take everything that was yours and make it their own. They were prepared to wipe you out. And just think about what that would feel like as every day that went by, you were one day closer to the reality that you were about to die. I mean, imagine that you found out that all of a sudden the president of the United States made a decision that 11 months from today, for me, everyone in the Brasher family was going to be wiped out, that they were going to be non-existent, that they were going to come and kill everyone and take everything. You would be dreading that day because of what the truth of that day meant, the reality of that day meant. And so just think about what these people, the Jews, were going through, God's chosen people, knowing that this day was coming and nothing that they could do, nothing in their power, because if they went and acted on it, that they would be going against the king, and that would also result in certain death. And so there was nothing that they could do. There was nothing that they could do to change their situation. But yet all of a sudden, because of Esther and her faithfulness to risk her own life to reveal the evil plot that was put in place, the king declares a new decree that Jews were able to defend themselves and that the king would want local governments and agencies to help them defend themselves to prevent this D-Day from happening, and that any of those that tried, the Jews could defend themselves. And we read that they were successful, that not a single Jew was hurt, wiped out, killed, or destroyed, and they experienced relief from their enemy. And this is such a perfect shadow for us today to remember that again, the cross, Jesus Christ, the resurrection, all of that is the greatest news that you and I could ever hear. That there's nothing that we could do to change our sin situation, but because of who Jesus is, we get to experience relief from our ultimate eternal enemy, sin. and that we can have life, that we no longer have to fear, and we can experience relief from the burden, the curse of sin, which was death, if we just simply put our faith and trust in who Jesus is. And let us remember that and rest on that today.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.